Hey there, Nick here with Infinite Loop Technical Solutions, and today I'm just going to be talking about this LG French door refrigerator that we purchased in November of 2017. If you can hear this rattling noise. Now it stops, and then it'll kick back in again. It just keeps doing this. And then if you open the door, it stops. Comes back on. Close the door, it goes away. For about 10 seconds. So this rattling noise has been persistent since we bought it. And what I mean by that is we bought it in November 2017, and we bought this appliance, and top loading washer and dryer that we have in the house as well. So this thing just keeps rattling, stopping, rattling, stopping. The rattling will usually go on for about 45 minutes out of an hour. As soon as you shake it, it goes away. So this is what my complaint is, and it's a pretty big one. It's that we bought these in November of 2017. We were doing a whole house renovation. We literally just moved into the house. Like, we still have boxes everywhere. We're still unpacking. Still putting up light fixtures. And we plugged these things in at the end of February just to get everything in the house ready, make sure everything was running fine, get the water line hooked up on it. And within the first day of it being plugged in, I noticed this noise. After the third day, it was driving me nuts listening to this thing all day long while I was finishing up doing just touches around the house before we moved into it. So I phoned LG, talked to them about it, and they said to me, oh, well, if it's your compressor, then we'll replace the compressor, but you have to pay for the labor on it. And I said, whoa. You guys have in like 30 font on the front of your fridge, inverter, linear compressor, 10-year warranty. Like, the sticker couldn't be bigger. And they're like, well, yes, that's on the compressor, but none of the parts, none of the labor. And if we find that there's nothing wrong with your compressor, then you'll be on charge for the entire service call. So I said, well, this is ridiculous. I explained to them that we had just plugged this thing in and that we had purchased it in November 2017, but we were doing a house renovation, and that we had purchased like tens of thousands of dollars worth of LG electronics and appliances for our home, and that as soon as we plug it in, it has issues. So they agreed to waive the service fee for us and just warranty it. And the first service guy that came out, his name was Norm. He worked for the same company that has come out to the house 3 times. It should have been 4 times, but it has only been 3 times. And this first guy, Norm, comes in, just walks in with a handheld drill or screwdriver, and comes in to look at the fridge. That's all he brings in with him. Looks like he's in the biggest rush ever, and you can hear this thing. So he comes in, takes a look at it, and he's like, oh, what's the problem? And I explain it to him. He doesn't have time to listen for the noise to come in. And then he gets down on his knees, looks at the bottom of it, and he's like, "Oh, you've got this thing up on its legs." I'm like, "Yes, LG told me that I had to level this thing out and ensure that everything was level on it, or that they would potentially not be warranting the service call if I hadn't followed the instructions." He's like, "Well, they don't know what they're talking about. Those legs are for nothing." And I said to him, like, "Oh, okay, yeah, for sure. I'm sure they don't know what they're saying." So he gets down on the bottom and he starts huffing and puffing because I have the legs up to balance it. And right now it's not on the legs. And you can see how the left side is much lower than the right. You can just see that it's uneven. Doesn't make a difference. I have it off the wheel so it can be rolled in and out. But yeah, he comes in and, like I said, only has a screwdriver with him. Gets underneath, starts complaining, saying LG doesn't know what they're talking about, that those legs aren't meant for really leveling it out completely. It's just to slightly raise it left or right. And I said, well, that's what I've done. I've raised it till it's level, which is what they're designed for. That's why they're that long. So he goes back out to his car, huffing and puffing that he has to go back to his car, comes in with just a Phillips screwdriver to try and push the legs down. And he is down there for maybe 10 seconds. And he's like, "Oh, these are too hard. They're, like, can you lift up the fridge?" I'm like, "I'm not lifting up the fridge." And so he gets up, grabs the refrigerator by this handle, pulls it all the way out, and starts reefing on the fridge while it's on its legs to pull it out of its cubbyhole. He then closes the door because he can't get it to budge like that. And I said to him, "I need you to leave." And he's like, "Excuse me?" And I was like, "I need you to leave." I'm like, "I have listened to you swearing while my 4-year-old's running around." "Oh, I haven't been swearing." I'm like, "You huffing under your breath? Oh shit, while he's running around." I'm like, "That's swearing." I'm like, "It's a 4-year-old child." And two, I'm like, "You come in with a drill and no other tools, and all you've done is complain about the fact that I've leveled it off and it's up on its legs, and now you have to take them off, and you had to go back to your vehicle to go get a screwdriver, and then you come back in, and within 5 seconds of you trying to lower the legs and you can't, you get up and start reefing on the bottom door handle to try and pull it out the whole way by its handle." I'm like, "It's absolutely garbage." I'm like, "I need you to leave." He's like, "I've been doing this for a while." I'm like, "Well, then you've been doing it wrong." I'm like, "Because this isn't how you treat someone's fridge that is worth almost $3,000. Actually, the retail on these things when they're not on sale is $3,300 Canadian for this fridge. $3,300 Canadian for this fridge." So I phone LG, file a complaint about this guy swearing and his attitude and everything else. They're like, "Oh, we'll definitely submit a complaint report about this individual. He's representing LG. He shouldn't be acting like that." I'm like, "You're damn right he shouldn't." I'm like, "It's absolutely garbage." And DSE Appliance Repair is who they contract out. So these guys that technically act as an agent of LG, and this is the type of service we've had with them. So, like I said before, we have this fridge, we have an LG oven, we have an LG microwave, we have an LG 4K OLED 55-inch big screen TV running Apple TV 4K. I don't know if it says anywhere on it, probably not. Not going to turn it on right now, but that's what it is. And we have, like I said, an LG top-loading washer and dryer in the basement. We'll get there first. You can see this TV. LG 1080p 3D OLED 55-inch from 2014. This thing was like $5,000, and the one upstairs is like a $4,500 television. So we have almost $10,000 just in two LG televisions. LG 3D Blu-ray player. It's discontinued now, but don't even really use it, but it's good to have for what we need. And then, like I said, two brand new LG top loading, washer and dryer. Not even a fleck of dust on this thing or scratch, because like I said, we're still moving in. Never used any of these appliances before. They were all purchased brand new for this house, because this entire house was covered in black mold and we had to do an entire 3-story demo, then re-reno on it. And then after the guy Norm came, what happens next? They send out another guy. His name was Jim. He comes out with all the parts, because after that guy Norm left, the touch panel stopped working on the fridge magically. So this guy Jim comes out the following week. Like, we're in the second week of March that I'm talking about right now. This guy Jim comes out, replaces this entire monster of a venting system, because these fans sound like they were rattling. Replaces the entire control board for the refrigerator, the entire front touch panel, and then also this guy right here, the capacitor for the fridge. Like I said, DSE appliance repair service. So all these parts have been replaced on a fridge that was only plugged in a few weeks ago. Hasn't had anything but issues since. The guy Jim replaces all those parts on it. He leaves. I go to turn on the ice maker. Ice maker doesn't work anymore. So I text him back the next day and I say to him, hey, ice maker's not working. Do I need to contact LG, or is this something that you're going to be able to try and come out and fix yourself? Don't hear from him for an hour and a half. So call LG. Within 5 minutes of talking to LG, I get a phone call from this guy saying he'll come back out. Asks me what day's the best for him. And I said today would be fine. It's a Friday. So he comes back out. He came out on the Thursday, then comes out on the Friday. And then takes a look at it. There is a latch in here. You open up. This comes out. I've left this on overnight to show that it has made no ice whatsoever. And then there is a test reset button right there. So you press it, and it's supposed to make the entire ice machine motor move, everything. Hold it down for 5 seconds. Oh, why is this out of focus? There we go. Does nothing. The ice maker is now dead on it. So the ice maker has to get replaced. So he comes out, verifies, yeah, the ice maker's not working. I've got to order an ice maker for it. Like I said, it's on. Turn it off because it's absolutely useless at this point. Have it at the optimal settings. If you look at the manual, it says that optimal settings for making ice is supposed to be negative 20 degrees Celsius. And it does nothing. Water machine, the water dispenser works on it. I'm not gonna, well, sure, why not? For demonstration purposes. Ice machine works fine. Control to the ice works, because if I put it on crushed, you can hear that it's trying to make ice, or it's moving the motor around that grinds up the ice. Or even if I tried to push cube for it to dispense it. That whole part still works. It's operational, so the panel's working fine. It's just the actual tray motor and that whole component that doesn't work anymore. So, in the time that we've literally had this thing up and running, a $3,300 fridge. We've had to have the touch blade replaced. We have had some big cooling fan component replaced, the capacitor replaced, and the entire control board for this thing has been replaced. Almost every part on this refrigerator has been replaced in the matter of us owning this thing and running it for essentially 3 weeks. Like, that's where we're at right now. So then when Jim came out to verify that the ice machine wasn't working anymore, what does he do? He turns around and tells me that, yeah, he hears the noise from the refrigerator at this point. Just this nonstop rattling. Never stops. Really, it doesn't. And he then tells me that he has to book me in with his refrigeration guy that has to weld and cut out the old compressor and then weld in a new one. And he's going to take about 2 hours to do so. So, I believe it was March 16th or March 15th, Friday, March 15th, this guy, Lewis from DSC Repair, was supposed to come out. And then on the Tuesday, which would have been the Tuesday, March 12th, Jim texts me and says, sorry, Lewis won't be able to make it on Friday, March 15th. He'll be coming out on Saturday when he has some time, and he doesn't have any, I can't remember the exact wording, but he basically said he's coming out on the Saturday. Gave me his cell phone number, his name, and basically I thought that they were verifying the information that it was booked. So my wife and my 2 children have a newborn daughter, go out to her parents' farm, which is almost an hour and a half out of town, and they stay for the weekend so that this guy can come in on Saturday, cut out, I'm assuming with a torch, the old compressor and then weld in a new compressor. I didn't want the kids in the house with all the refrigeration gases and all the other crap that was going to be up in the air in here. Let it clear out for the rest of the weekend after Saturday. By 12 o'clock, don't hear from this guy. Wait till 12:30, give him a text. This guy, Lewis, replies to me, I think it's about an hour later. It says, I'm in Westlock. Well, I have no idea where Westlock, Alberta is, so I Google search it. It's like an hour and 10 minutes away from Edmonton. So I say to him, okay, well, I guess I'll talk to Jim then and rebook a different day with him that you can come out. Another half hour passes or so, and he replies, you book with me. And I say, okay, so what day is going to work for you? Like, are you still coming today or tomorrow? And he says to me, like, another 10 minutes pass or whatever. It's just ridiculous. You're next on my list, but I'm just not sure when I'll be out that way next. So that's the reply that he sends. There was a whole bunch of other ones. I basically end up saying to him, okay, well, are you coming today or not? He doesn't reply to me. He then says, like an hour later, I can come out tomorrow on Sunday, which was St. Patrick's Day. And I said to him, unfortunately, that won't work. My family's celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Don't hear from him for an hour after that. So at like 2:07, I text him and say, can you let me know if you're coming out today or if you're going to be booking for another weekend? If you're coming out today, I'm going out, but I'll be home by 4 p.m. because I've been waiting all day for this guy and I had other things to do. Send him another text at 3:07, letting him know I'll be back at 4 p.m. if he is coming out, but he needs to let me know either way if he's coming. Don't hear from him. He then sends me a text at 5:58 p.m. saying I can be there in half an hour. And it's 6:30 at night. I had come home at 4 p.m. and waited till literally 5:45 to see if this guy was even going to respond to me. He didn't. And then sends me a text at 5:58 on a Saturday night saying that he'll come out in half an hour. So 6:30 p.m. he's then going to start welding and cutting out the compressor on my fridge at 6 o'clock at night on a Saturday, and he's not going to be done till like 8 p.m. on a Saturday. Like, it's absolutely ludicrous. So I didn't respond. I was absolutely irate at the fact that this guy didn't message me all afternoon to let me know if he was even coming out, and then expects me at 6 p.m. to just be around so he can come over all of a sudden. Like, no communication, can't bother to call me. And I had phoned LG, and sorry, we'll get to that. So I tell him I'm going to phone LG, and I'm going to figure something else out with LG, because that's absolutely unacceptable that I text him at 2:07 in the afternoon, and at 6 o'clock at night he's telling me that he's going to come over, but doesn't give me any inclination that he's even coming or that he wants to book it for another weekend. Nothing. So at 5:58 he sends me one text, I can be there in half an hour. About 10 minutes later he sends me a text with a question mark, and then another minute later another question mark, and then I think it was about 5 minutes after that he sends me another one. I can't even remember what it says. And then the fourth one he sends me says, if we wait until next week or another weekend, Jim will likely want to send back parts. And I then replied to him, listen, it's 6:45 at night. You didn't text me back at all. I sent you a text at 2:07 p.m. So thanks for getting back to me 4 hours later on a Saturday when I've been waiting all day for you. And I'll figure something else out with LG. So I phoned LG this past week. I believe it was on Tuesday of this past week. And I filed a complaint with DSE about the fact that this guy didn't come on a Saturday when they were scheduled to. I essentially said, if you, as a manager, would you be comfortable with your employee being scheduled to work on a Saturday and then not showing up for half the day? You call them and then say, are you coming in today? And they turn around and say, oh, I'm out of town and I don't know when I'll be back out that way, but you're next on my list. I was like, is that acceptable to you? And he's like, well, no, that wouldn't be. I was like, well, he was scheduled to come to my house for his job to fix my fridge today. I sent my family out of town to get this thing fixed. He doesn't respond to me all afternoon when I'm trying to find out when he's willing to rebook with me, since he's telling me that I have to rebook with him, not this other guy, Jim, that originally scheduled him for Saturday. Let me know that he couldn't come out on the Friday and had been rescheduled for Saturday. I said, no problem. Then the guy doesn't show up. So then LG then tells me that they're going to try and schedule another repair with DSE. And I was like, I'm not using the same guys. I'm like, I'm not. You've had 3 people scheduled for my house. The second guy's come twice. The first guy had to ask leave after he's swearing and almost ripping the bottom door handle off of my drawer on the fridge. Doesn't bring in any tools with him. And the next guy that's supposed to cut out the compressor doesn't even show up when he's scheduled to show up. I'm like, this is absolutely garbage. I'm like, at this point, what I want is a new fridge. I'm like, you guys have replaced every part known to man on this fridge and it still isn't working. There's still things failing on it. It's a lemon. I'm like, we have tens of thousands of dollars worth of LG appliances in this house, between televisions and actual appliances, and we have been given a fridge that doesn't work, and we just started using it. I'm like, you can see when it was registered online with your SmartThink app. I'm like, you can see exactly what day it was. It's like 3 weeks ago. And you want to keep sending out these repairmen. They are unprofessional, don't show up for their appointments, swearing in front of my kids. I'm like, they all work for the same company. And they're like, well, you've already filed one complaint with us about them. I'm like, and you have another employee with that same company that's even worse, that doesn't even show up to the job when he's supposed to. I'm like, it's garbage. I'm like, these are your contractors that you guys are paying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to replace your appliances. And this is what your customers are dealing with after paying you tens of thousands of dollars for your appliances and for your electronics. I'm like, you guys have these big stickers with the 10-year warranty, all this stuff. And I'm like, your repair guy scratches the crap out of the chrome ring, You can see all these scratch marks right here from where he was trying to pry this thing off. And the one that they replaced is so warped, like it has all these metal warped pieces on it. It's so hard to get on this camera, but this entire top is just like bubbled the entire way across, because it's just a sticker that's on there, but the sticker's not on great. But the chrome ring is part of the fridge, and it's completely scratched to crap because the guy didn't know how to get this thing off. Looks like it possibly was dented in the side right here, while likely trying to pry this thing off. And we have an ice maker that doesn't work. The compressor needs to be replaced. Like, we want a new fridge. It's as simple as that. Like, they sold us a lemon. You have LG appliances through your entire house, and then they pretend that they're standing by their electronics and their equipment with putting these big stickers on there saying, oh yeah, 10-year warranty. This thing is brand new. It never ran before, and as soon as you plug it in, this is what we get. And then LG sends out their repair teams, and when you phone LG, it's, oh, worry-free repair, worry-free this, worry-free everything, because life's good. This isn't good. This isn't acceptable for a multi-million-dollar company that says that they back their electronics and everything else, and that they have great repair guys, and this is the service that we're getting. People not showing up, people swearing in front of my kids, every part being replaced on here, damage being done to the fridge, other parts magically stopped working that were working fine before all the other components were replaced, and now we have to get a whole new component for this. Like, if this is how LG stands by their products, then no one should be buying their appliances, because if this is how the quality of their appliances is, and then this is the service and the way that they stand behind their products is, not impressed at all. So, like I said, our chrome ring on this thing is now scratched to crap. I'll go show the bottom touch panel to just show that the damage on it matches it perfectly. Fridge that just won't stop rattling. Every component's been replaced on it, and yet we have supported and paid, like I said, tens of thousands of dollars to LG in electronics with televisions, ovens, fridges, microwaves in the cabinet. Curved 3D TVs, washer, dryer, all brand new, like not a single scratch on these things because we've never used them. And then this is what we get, a box of parts for me to throw out, which I willingly said I would do, except it's ridiculous that these are all the parts that have already been replaced on it. And we still need 2 more components replaced on there. But look at the bottom of this touch panel. You can see where all the scratch marks are, or carvings. Where he was trying to pry it out. It matches perfectly with where it's damaged, right in the center of that chrome ring. But this touch panel, like, it has no bubbles along it. It's perfectly smooth. The replacement one has all these bubbles along the whole top. But now this one's all scratched on the bottom, so you couldn't even use this one if you wanted to. It's just absolutely ludicrous. So if LG's watching this thing, and this is how they want to stand by their products, I am highly suggesting look at another manufacturer, because if this is how they want to treat their customers and this is the quality of products that they're putting out on the market, why would you ever give them your money? And when they brag life's good and all this stress-free stuff, this isn't stress-free. This is completely stressful. And it's absolutely ludicrous that they put their customers through this. So I hope you found this video useful. I hope you found it informative. And if you're looking for new appliances, maybe it'll make you take a second look at LG, because I wouldn't want anyone else to be dealing with this. Thanks for watching. Take care. Hit that like button, smash the subscribe button to stay tuned for more videos.